on Rangers? IamMJC here. I hope everybody's having a great day, and thanks for joining me on today's video. If you're here, that means you're interested in obtaining the It Came From Within achievement. This is a rare achievement in Shadow of War worth 15 gamerscore, and the requirements are to start a conquest with all the war chiefs branded as spies. This is one of the longer achievements, so you will have to put a little bit of time into this one, and you won't be able to start this until you have the branding technique, which is available partway through Act 2. So the keyword in this achievement is war chiefs. War chiefs are your high-ranking middlemen between your captains and your overlords. In order for your war chiefs to betray their overlords during a siege, you first need to brand the bodyguards of the war chiefs as a follower. My first target was Ukbuk the Unstoppable. If you're having trouble with your targets, be sure to check their strengths and weaknesses to give you a greater advantage during your fight. But let's go track down our first captain to make a little bit of progress towards this achievement. Alright, our first challenge is going to be for Ukbuk, and it's going to be a trial by ordeal. It looks like he's going to be facing a Karagor, so while his attention is focused on the beast, I think my best course of action is going to be lay low, let the beast do most of the work for me, and just before his health gets too low, I will swoop in and get the easy brand.
Let me show you
Thanks to the Karagor, Ukbuk's health is at 50%, and now I have him in a one-on-one situation. So I'm going to quickly apply a Wraith Freeze and give him a flurry of melee attacks. Once the green bar over his head indicates that he's broken, I'm going to quickly brand him, securing our first recruit for this achievement. You're going to want to use the recruit prompt, which is used with the A button. After that, click the Infiltrate War Chief prompt, which is used by the X button. You're going to use both of these quite often, so make sure you're not clicking Y or B. Now that we've taken down Ukbuk, it's time to go after the second bodyguard for the war chief. We don't have any intel on the bodyguard, however, so we're going to have to find a worm. Luckily, through the miracle of editing, there happens to be a worm right here. So let's see what kind of information we can grab off of him about this captain. Alright, so this captain is Arpratu Blackheart. He's a Dark Commander and he's an epic status. It looks like he's heavily damaged by Karagor and can take damage from bows, melees. Alright, so he seems pretty straightforward. Let's go get him. Because this scenario involves Blackheart raiding an enemy camp, he's going to be distracted with the enemy captain. I think I'm going to take the same approach I did with the Karagor and just let the opposing sides do most of the work for me, and I'll come in at the end for a quick dominate.
Join the army of the great lord!
I am your servant.
A few of the enemies in the game will use a perk in which they'll use a horn to continuously call for reinforcements. I know each scenario in the game is different, but actively try to avoid captains and war chiefs with this perk. It just increases the time for the achievement and increases the difficulty as well. If there's no way around it, use your Wraith Freeze as much as you can and your bow and arrow to create some distance between you and the enemy. It's going to take you a few attempts to break each captain, so don't get frustrated and stick with it. If you'll notice in the top left-hand corner of the screen, Blackheart's level is currently level 23. Some of the enemies that you face in the world are going to be a bit too high for you to dominate right away. Shaming captains bring down their overall level. I was able to get Blackheart's level from 23 down to 16 with one shame. Some captains and war chiefs will take more than one shame for you to get their morale low enough so that they will turn on their overlord.
Mix it up, mix it up.
Away from me! Shout if you see anything! Get away from me! Don't let your guard
Mix it up, mix it up, burn up. Now we mix it up.
For the Bright Lord you will fight!
Mixed up, mix it up, mix it up.
Once you've gathered all your bodyguards and turned them into your followers, it's time to begin the betrayal missions. And just as the name suggests, these are the missions in which your captains are going to be betraying your war chief. It's important to note that if you allow your captains to kill the war chief, you're going to have to start the achievement all over again. But if you've made it this far, congratulations, because you've just unlocked the operative achievement. This is for turning a war chief's bodyguards against him and having a minimum of 2 bodyguards do that. For this fight, just allow your bodyguards to get the war chief about halfway down and take over the fight for yourself. Once again, just a quick note, when you do break the captains or the war chiefs, make sure that you are shaming them and not clicking fight to the death or another prompt. This could result in you having to restart the achievement, and I feel like nobody wants to do that, so just be congruent in your decisions. So once again, even though we shame the war chief, his overall level is still too high, so we're going to have to do another mission. And it looks like that Nazu is attempting to execute him. We don't want that to happen because he's already considered a war chief, and if that happens, our achievement will once again be erased. So we're going to kill Nazu and his followers. There's a chance that the war chiefs will run. That's okay though, as long as they survive, the achievement should still be viable. After we killed Nazu and cleared out a few of his followers, we were able to get an easier attempt to shame Moog. This time, we were able to get his level from 18 all the way down to 13. His overall level should be low enough now for us to turn him against the Overlord. Now that we've got Moog to a much more manageable level 14, it's time for the final assault on the war chief. Our course of action is going to be no different. We're going to exploit his vulnerabilities, and if we can, get a quick execution on him. It's important to note that we are not going to be killing him. We want to brand him in order for us to gain him as a follower. If your enemy attempts to retreat, just remember that you can unlock the Wraith ability that allows your arrows to anchor them to the ground. But we're going to take this war chief on just like everybody else, just quick flurries with our Wraith ability, and when we get the chance, we're going to break him.
I am your master!
At your command, my lord. Command, my lord.
After you dominate the war chief, you'll notice on the second tier of the keep that he no longer sits up there. He now instead has to infiltrate it. This is because word has spread that he may be considered a softie or something for being dominated that many times. So now he must prove himself in the fight pits. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to infiltrate it, and hopefully we will come out on top and we will have a mole inside of the keep. The infiltrations are marked by the 2 skulls in blue on your map. Once you enter the fight pits, your branded war chief is going to take on a random captain. I was quite nervous because my war chief was only level 14 going against a high rated level 19 captain. I was able to pull out a victory though and secure another checkpoint for this achievement. If you're still progressing towards this achievement, well, congratulations, you were just able to unlock the I Like to Watch achievement, in which you just have to watch a follower murder a captain without helping. So after the fight pits, that is one war chief done. He's considered a spy and he will be an infiltrator. After that, you're going to just go on to the next war chief and do the exact same thing. I'm not going to provide any footage for that, it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. I will, however, show the last bodyguard for the second war chief. This is Ushak, the funny one, and from the get-go I knew the Karagors would be a problem, so I decided to take a more rooftop-heavy approach. I figured I could get a stealth attack or a brutalize on him just to take some of his health down, just to give myself a better chance. So once you break the final bodyguard for the war chiefs, you're going to go back to the betrayal mission and do the same thing. You're going to have the bodyguards attack the war chief, and it's going to betray him, he's going to get knocked down a few pegs, and he's going to have to prove himself in the fight pits again. And that's what we're here for with Hoshgrish. I was a little more comfortable going into this fight considering that the opposing enemy was only level 11 and I was sporting a level 16 Mythic Destroyer. So once you're done proving yourself in the fight pits for the second time, your setup is going to look something like this. You're going to have all your bodyguards and all of your war chiefs under your control. After that, you're going to go to the mission The Etten and take on your first siege. During that time, your achievement should pop, registering 15 gamerscore for your gamer card. If you found this video helpful or were entertained at any point, please leave it a thumbs up, and I'll see everybody in the next one.